Everyone wants white teeth, but not everyone wants to pay for it. It is a luxury that most people have to decide if they want to spend their discretionary dollars on. But make no mistake, people will pay for what they want, even more than what they need. Just look how much people spend on gambling and their pets and their cars and so on and so on. Even in the midst of a pandemic-caused recession, do not assume that there isn't money out there. There is. It's your job to let the patients know what you have to offer, and they can decide if they want to buy from you. There are several ways you can help your patients whiten their teeth. Number one, you need to educate them on the different whitening procedures. Number two, educate them on the different costs of each. Number three, you need to decide on whether you want to offer whitening for less and use it as a marketing or loyalty program, or for charge full price and do it less often. Let's start with number one. You probably already know what's out there. As a hygienist, I let the patient know of all the ways to whiten their teeth, from Crest white strips to in-office trays to in-office treatments. I didn't care which they did. I just educated them on what was available and the costs of each. When it comes to steps 3 and 4, deciding to charge full price or use whitening as a marketing or loyalty tool, I will tell you what I did as a hygienist and what my practices did when I was CEO, and you can decide what you want to do. We offered custom whitening trays for free to all of our patients as a loyalty program. They could get their trays and 2 syringes of whitening gel, and if they kept their next recall appointment within 2 weeks of their due date, by coming to that appointment on time, they got those 2 touch-up syringes for free at each recall. This was great for a continuing care coordinator, because when anyone tried to call and cancel without rescheduling, she could remind them that they wouldn't want to miss out on their free whitening gel. Now, we found 2 problems with this. Number one, with an enrollment fee of nothing, not everyone valued it, and we had a lot of whitening trays that never got picked up. Number two, you have to put in your software somewhere the patient is enrolled in the whitening loyalty program, so that your continuing care coordinator can see and use it to prevent cancellations. If you don't, you will miss out on the whole point of it being a loyalty program. To solve the problem with patients valuing it or not, we did some testing. We priced it at $99, then $45. We had just as many people sign up for the custom trays at $99 as we did for $45, so we kept it at $99. In addition, logistically, you need to work out a few kinks. Number one, we used anterior sextant impression trays so that I could do both top and bottom impressions at the same time. Practice that. That cut my impression time in half. Then I wrapped them in a wet paper towel and let my teammates know over our radios that there were models to pour up. Whenever anyone had any downtime, we went to the lab to pour up models and make trays. All of us were trained on that. One summer, we even had my teenage son in the lab making trays. If you have a scanner, even better. Number two, make lab slips of who took the scan or impressions, what the date was, and who the patient was, who poured them up, and who made the trays. This will ensure that the impressions won't be sitting around too long if you're not using a scanner. And if there are any questions, you know who to go to. Number three, no chair time for seating the trays. Train your team properly on the double impression technique or scans, and also on the pouring and trimming of models. Make sure there are no sharp edges on the trays, and you should be good to go. Number four, let the patients know that they can stop by in 3 days without needing an appointment to pick up their trays. We had their trays and syringe and their models all in a Ziploc bag in alphabetized drawers, so we could get to them easy. Number five, again, put in the patient file that they have enrolled in the whitening loyalty program, and decide on a re-enrollment fee if they don't keep or reschedule their continuing care appointment within a 2-week period. Now, if a patient does cancel and doesn't re-enroll within 2 weeks, you need to decide, are you going to charge them a re-enrollment fee? I say you have a firm principle of this re-enrollment fee. If they don't, you tell them there is a re-enrollment fee of, say, $45. That's what we did. Did we enforce it? Hardly ever. It depends on the patient. Use your discretion. Have a firm policy in place and be super flexible. I'm not a fan of negative reinforcement, but I am a fan of a policy that a patient is informed of, not necessarily held to. So let's do some math. If you offered this for every patient over 18 and your team is excited about it, you could get 50% of your patients to enroll that first year. It would be a busy year of making a lot of trays. Let's say 3 a day at $99 times 16 days times 12 months. That almost equals $60,000. But the real investment is saving 1 cancellation a day in the years following the enrollment. If you average $150 per hour of production in hygiene and save 1 appointment each day times 16 days a month times 12 months a year, that's $30,000 a year, year after year. Not to mention production, making it easier on your continuing care coordinator to keep the schedule full. Lastly, I would also offer to patients in-office whitening, a service like Zoom or core whitening. The reason is you probably have a patient like my very own husband who won't comply with wearing the trace for 2 weeks and would prefer to just get it done in the office. For these patients, custom trays are included in the fee. I've seen an average of about $300 for this service. That's an average. If you just did 2 a week, that would be another $30,000 a year in hygiene production. That's it, guys. If you have any questions, shoot me an email.